I go.
Amen.
I go.
Amen.
That's important. It's important that we keep order. And that's just a little device to help us keep order. This is a serious event. We're going to have some fun. We're going to learn some things. But it's a serious event. So we do need to keep order. Miss Keisha explained to you guys basically what the program was about. From a man's perspective, I would just like to say a few things. This program is because these men up here and other men that are not here are sick and tired of watching our young men fall by the wayside. We're tired of going to funerals. We're tired of visiting folks in jail. We're tired of reading in the paper and seeing in the news all the tragedies that beset the group of young men that are coming up today. And with all this going on today, we had to do some introspect. Introspect means to look inside of yourself. And when we looked inside of ourselves, we saw that part of the problem might be that we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Not me in particular, but me, the black man figure in our community. So to the young men that are participating in this program today, I want to say to you, you're not here because you did anything wrong. That's not why you're here today. If anyone is wrong in this room, it's us. The fault is on our side. So what we've decided to do is come together, band together. We have a wealth of talents, a wealth of mistakes, a wealth of circumstances, and even some solutions that we can bless you and share with you and help to educate you on all aspects of life. So that as you come across these things, now you've been educated. You'll make your own decision. Whatever happens will be up to you. But you won't be able to say that you didn't know. So any decision you make that has whatever consequence, good or bad, you'll be making it because you're educated. We want you to know that we love you. We want you to know that we need you to succeed. We need to be a part of that. So we're asking you to invite us in. We realize we're on the outside, and we can't do anything unless you allow us to. I raised my children telling them that I'm your dad. I'll always be your dad. But there's one person that can stop me, prevent me from being your dad, and that's you. And the same thing applies here. We want to give you what we have. You are our future. I have daughters, granddaughters, that some of you might want to connect with. And I want to make sure that I do my part, as well as these young men do their part, to make sure that you're the man that you can be, that you're striving to reach your potential. So with that being said, I was waiting on a picture from the kitchen. We're going to go into our libation ceremony. So, if there are any men and young men in the room who have descendants that they would like to honor because they were influential, because they helped to bring your family around. They helped you to make it this far. You look up to them. They are your role model, and you want to honor them. What they did was they reached back to help you. Now we're reaching back to honor them for helping you. So, along the red carpet, I would like the men to line up. And as the men line up, we're going to do our libation ceremony. We're going to give honor to those who made it possible for us to be sitting here today. If they had not done what they did, we might not have made it. If they had not said what they said, we might not have been encouraged. If they had not put out the rod of correction, we might not have got the message. Yeah, sometimes we have to have an attitude adjustment. That's what it was called in my house. It wasn't a whooping. It was an attitude adjustment. And they are necessary. Sometimes. But check this out. If we can have an understanding with each other, we don't have to have no attitude adjustment. So life is about getting understandings. So if I can get the men to line up along the red carpet and come forth, we're going to start our libation ceremony. Everyone come on up. Oh, great. So what's going to happen is this gentleman, come on up. The young men too. I know you guys have grandmothers that might not be with you anymore. Grandfathers that might not be with you anymore. Any family member. You're talking about all of us. Yes. All of us that we want to pay tribute to.
I want to give homage to my father, Walter Richardson, and my mother, Ruth.
And they all said, Ashe.
I want to give honor to my father, Emmanuel Leaks Sr., and my mother, Sadie Mae Leaks.
And they all said,
Ashe.
I want to give honor to my father, Kermit Crump, and my mother, Betty. They were always there for me.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I want to give honor to my great-grandfather, Ben Cotton, Mary L. Coleman, my grandfather, Robert and Nancy Cotton, and my mother and brother, Sadie Cotton and Sam Langston.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I'd like to give honor to my wife, who's deceased as of October the 10th, and my mother and father, Joseph and Bethel Walker. And they are dearly missed, and I want to give honor to them. Thank you.
and they all said,
Ashe.
Thank you.
I want to give honor to my grandmother, Bernice Cameron, my mother, Tanya Cameron, and my uncle, T.Y. Harold Cameron.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I would like to give this honor to my father, Salmace Green, my mother, Sanchi Green.
and they all said,
Ashe.
now remember, this libation is supposed to be for descendants. For descendants. for folks that have gone on, that we know are still with us, that helped us along the way.
I would like to give honor to my grandmother, Deborah Burton, and my uncle, Roger Phillips.
And they all said,
Ashe.
I want to give honor to my grandmother, Lucille Kugler, and my uncle, Sterling Kugler.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I'd like to give honor to my father, Julian Hill Sr., and also to my mentor, Cal Nichols.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I would like to give honor to my grandmother, Doris Smith.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I'd like to give honor to my uncle, Michael Walker, and my grandmother, Faye Walker.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I'd like to give honor to a couple friends of mine, Robert McQueen, Sheldon Williams, and Sheree Bell.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I'd like to give honor to my grandmother, Willa Bobo, my mom, Ethan Pennington, and my father, Gary Bobo.
and they all said,
Ashe.
Giving honor to my mother, Flossie Paul, and my father, Lawson Paul.
and they all said,
Ashe.
Giving honor to my father, Lawrence Peyton Mosley Sr., and to my grandfather, Benjamin Franklin.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I would like to give honor to my mother, Josephine Williamson.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I'd like to give honor to my Scoutmaster, Bob Franks, and my pastor, O.M. Hoover.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I would like to give honor to my grandfather, Michael Farrell, and my uncle, Kenneth Farrell.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I'd like to give honor to my grandmother, Clotie Classical Bello, and my aunt, Miriam Roulan.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I would like to give honor to my father, William LeVert, and my cousin, James McMillian.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I would like to give acknowledgement to my father, John Knowles, my brother, Juan Turner, my sister, Sherelle Turner, and my niece, Crystal Stewart.
and they all said,
Ashe.
I'd like to give honor to my mother, Beatrice Anderson, my other mom, Claudia Mae Vincent, my uncles Harry, Gary, James, Charles, and already passed.
and they all said,
Ashe.
now I don't want to miss anyone. Any of you young folks have anyone that's not with you anymore, that you love, that you miss, that was good to you, that was there when you needed them. You can give them a tribute at this time. I don't want to miss no one. For all of those who've gone before us, who've been acknowledged, and those that we know should have been acknowledged, and those that were in the background, and for all of these families represented here, we know that it took a village to raise children. It took families, extended families, which is what we're all about, to be able to come together and share and make legacies that were able to go forward. For Keisha's brother and her father that she mentioned earlier, I just would like to pour this libation. And they all said,
Ashe.
For my grandfather, Buster Landrum, who I was around all my life, but was only my grandfather for his last year. What a year it was. I give honor, because if it had not been for that year, I don't know what would have happened with me. And they all said,
Ashe.
Just want to acknowledge one more name that I feel that we cannot move forward without saying this man's name. I just want to give honor to Mr. Henry Wilkins,
yes,
who left us and who has gone home. And we all say,
Ashe. Thank you for participating in our libation ceremony. God knows those that should be honored. And because he's able to be everywhere and do everything and know everything, we give it to him to add those names that we might have missed, not on purpose. For all of those that's gone before us, we say, Ashe. Thank you. That ends our libation ceremony. And now we're going to separate into groups. The caregivers are going to be going downstairs for their program. And the young men, we're going to start our program up here.